here. What is up, chat? Happy Friday. I forgot to turn my mic off during the intro, so I was jamming. You might have caught a little bit of that, but it's all right. Happy Friday, TGIF. What is up? How we doing? Day after the trade deadline saga. Yesterday's show, man, there was so much movement during the PrizePicks show that every time we try to attack a prop, something changed, right? Spencer Dinwiddie gone in the midst of the show. But today, all the dust is settled. Now, it's just a matter of who's going to play and who's not, right? So a little bit back to normal. Expect most of the people that have been traded yesterday probably wouldn't be ready in time today, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm Gun, twitter.com/Gundacker, joined by the mad scientist of the prop world, Josh. Yesterday, mixed bag of nuts. We were on Luka's assists, and he decided to score all of the points. All of the real. He was like, pass the ball? Why would I do that?
Right. He went nuclear, man. I mean, if you're not missing in the first quarter that early on, like, yeah, why stop shooting, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What can you do? But other than that, like, I ran a couple late cards. Giannis free throws hit. Mikal Bridges hooked me. Oh, he hooked me.
0.5, right? Or you had to get more than
I had
one.
I think I had 21, and he had like 21 and a half.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever it was. But what are you gonna do, man? That is the life. Other than that, though, man, the Gary Trent was a free square on
Chris
every
Paul. Yeah.
Chris Paul. Yep. So it was fine. I wouldn't really
Both
upset.
of them almost doubled their props that were our favorite. The Chris Paul assist in 19, I think he finished with, and the
Yeah,
prop was 11. And then Gary Trent put up 62 price
Yeah.
fantasy points.
Gary Trent
And
went
just-
nuts. And I think he had 4 steals. I mean, like, we were all over that. Like, that was
oh yeah.
So, what are you gonna do? A lot of real points too, man. What's up,
Yeah.
chat? Me and more. Sean V. Sean said, "I don't do this prop stuff. That's 1-800 gambler territory." The thing is, it's not. It's literally DFS. In DFS, you're researching the most positive matchups for the player. That's literally what we're doing. Like, it's no different. And in DFS, you got to get, what, eight or 9 of them right. Here you can have as little as 2 of them right. So while there is still some risk and a house is going to win here, but to say it's to be an avid DFS player and be anti-player I just don't get it. Like, it's the same research. Like, I literally had to code nothing new to do this. So Sean V coming in hot with the hot takes. What up, Cheats? What up, Damron? Gun, I sent you a meme in NBA. I don't know if I can look at your memes live on YouTube. I might lose my channel. Arizona Drama says Murray over 7.5 rebounds. Currently 9-13 on this line. Last 13 games. Yeah, I am a fan of some DeJounte Murray props. Life without Derek White begins. And much of our sample size this season of DeJounte with no Derek White has been really fruitful and really positive. What up, Thomas? What up, Tea Time? Fish fan in the chat. Sean says, I already read Sean. What up, Jermaine? E made it happen. Myron, player props is better than DFS. Chances to win more money is higher. I don't know about more money, right? You're not winning 100K or 50K or 20K. But, like, the process is very much the same. And I don't know. It's still simplification, right? We don't have to play Alexei Pokusevsky. You know what I mean? I don't know. Hey, I love DFS. Don't get me wrong.
Bong.
Bing bong.
Shout out to Josh and Gun for all the fire props, and glad Dameron is back.
Is Damron back? Did he come out of retirement? Yo, shout out to Fish Fan for the 20. He's taking back the biggest D of the month. Beware. Josh, we got, 7 games tonight? A little Friday night action. Get us started for the Super Bowl weekend. And some spots where, like I said, a lot of people that got traded yesterday, maybe we don't expect them to play the very next day. And at least for the time being, we can take advantage of some usage opportunities, increases from one-day absences or just new-look teams. So I'm excited to kind of to hit this slate. And we also have some of our I don't know, man. What would we call teams we love to attack? Like the Hornets, the Rockets, process teams. We just have some of our comfort zone spots to attack. So I'm a little bit excited for that. The slate today: Hornets at the Pistons, 227 total. The Cavs at the Pacers. Cavs are going to be without Darius Garland. The Pacers, new look team. Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield joining the team. No longer Karis LeVert, no longer Domantas Sabonis, and they still have Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon and the likes of those out. Just a 214 total, but a new look opportunity. Thunder at the 76ers. James Harden not going to debut today for the 76ers, so Joel Embiid could continue his MVP-like season against one of the most fruitful matchups in all of basketball, the front court defense of the Thunder. Caveat being that 12.5-point spread. The Spurs traded away Derek White to the Boston Celtics. Josh Richardson not going to play. DeJounte Murray up against the Atlanta Hawks. We love point guards against the Hawks. 233 total on this one. Hawks favored by 8. But DeJounte gets all of the usage, and we know he can stuff the stat sheet. The Nuggets at the Celtics, really tough defensive matchup for any team. But the Boston Celtics have just been clamping up opponents, and they have added Derek White and Daniel Tice to their roster, trading away Josh Richardson and Dennis Schroeder yesterday. Don't know if they're going to be available today, but their starting five is still the same. So still a tough matchup. And did you see the total in the T-Wolves Bulls, Josh? Nuts. 241 total in that one. So plenty of implied scoring to go around, and people that might average 25, 26, 27 points a game are getting, an implied total of 120 plus. We might be looking there for some opportunities. And then the nightcap is the Utah Jazz hosting Orlando Magic. Rudy Gobert might be back. Jazz favored by 14. Most of the slate's going to be over by 8 p.m. Eastern. And then considering your interest in that Jazz game, the slate will be over once the 8 p.m. Eastern game tips off. So that's what we're looking at tonight. Josh, we've had some time to look at some of these props. I haven't seen what's live on PrizePicks, but I do want to mention to you guys that on Fridays, PrizePicks does this happy hour promotion, which means your minimum card entry fee goes from $5 to $1, and I believe it's from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you're balling on a budget, you want to fire away a couple tickets and rather do $1, start satelliting and climbing that ladder, grinding that bankroll. Today might be a good day. So if you're watching, you're not on PrizePicks, sign up, use code Gundacker. They're gonna match your first deposit up to $100, and you can fire away some $1 scratch offs here, and hopefully start 10xing your money. Josh, where do we start today? You want to start with the Spurs, DeJounte Murray, and his team without Derek White? Anything standing out to you here?
Sorry, our cleaners are almost done cleaning in the house.
This guy has his own cleaners, chat. Imagine.
Hopefully the vacuum's not too loud.
I didn't even hear it, to be honest.
Okay. DeJounte, I could get on. Probably is. What do you have him projected for fantasy?
So for DeJounte Murray, I'm looking at scrolling down. Yo, DW Lane, appreciate that follow. Welcome to the channel. I got DeJounte at 53 fantasy points. Let's go pull off the on-off core tool here via Add More Funds, exclamation point AMF in the chat, and put DeJounte on the court, and let's take off Derek White. Just get a 1-to-1 number. We're not going to really mess with much else here. I saw that one of the more bet props of the day so far has also been Keldon Johnson 3-pointers attempts. So I wanted your thoughts on that as well. In the absence of Derek White, but DeJounte is averaging 28% usage rate this season without Derek White on the court, a 44% assist rate, and a 1.56 PrizePicks points per minute production. So that's what we're looking at. I have him at over 50 fantasy points. Their fantasy point projection is 49.5, so that's pretty spot on. The assist at 10.5. They didn't really give us an instant bargain opportunity on DeJounte. But it is the Atlanta Hawks, so we could milk all the extra juice out of it because you milk juice. And maybe attack the fantasy points. Is that the one you were leaning on?
Yeah, just because he also has that steal upside. I mean, and Trey does turn the ball over at a high rate. So I probably like the fantasy score. And then I feel like with the usage rate bump, I could get on his points. Because this matchup is just too soft and too good for him. And hopefully he's more aggressive with Derek White being out. But like you mentioned with Keldon Johnson, Keldon's been doing better. He's always a guy that's so up and down, and can you really trust him, especially in the prop world? But the 15.5 points is interesting, and then like you mentioned, the 3-point prop. So we should maybe dive into that some more.
Yeah, so I don't see the 3-point prop on the board here. I was just perusing Twitter earlier, and I saw the Keldon Johnson.
Hypothetical, yeah.
Right.
Have it.
And Keldon was one of the top 5 one of the top 5 player props that was gaining steam on DK Sportsbook. So I guess in theory that makes sense because Derek White will chuck a bunch of threes. That's coming off the board. And lately, Keldon Johnson has shot no less than 5 long balls in the last 5 games, and he's gone up to 8. 9 3-point attempts. So I guess if his prop was below 3, that 2.5 is probably the most realistic line to see today. Yeah, I could get behind that. I guess the Hawks, it makes a lot of sense. So I don't mind that, but just wanted to kind of put that out there. And then also Jakob Poeltl, if we pull on this split and put him on the court, they've not reintroduced, but Zach Collins has come back this season. He's played a couple minutes in a couple games so far. It looks like he might be an immediate backup live to get minutes. But Jakob Poeltl in this split, over a fantasy point per minute, 1.11 to be exact, with a 17% usage rate. I don't like picking on the Hawks front court like at a high clip, but I do have Poeltl right now for 40 fantasy points. And I do think DeJounte could work well with Jakob Poeltl. So if maybe we thought that DeJounte was live to have an exuberant amount of assists today, maybe Jakob Poeltl is somebody that he can pick and roll with and get some of those assists to go down. Also, Jakob Poeltl 32.5 fantasy points, which is about 8 lower than what I have him at. So a couple names that stand out, but we only get 4 Spurs to choose from. I hardly ever take Doug McDermott props. I never play him in DFS either, so I probably won't put money on him in a parlay setting. But any leans on Jakob Poeltl?
Yeah, so that last game he played, I believe Zach Collins would have gotten even more minutes, but he got into foul trouble like he tends to always do, why the Blazers really did not like him or play him that much. So that's something to look into. I got to look at their minute in that rotation because I think Zach Collins picked up his 5th foul in either the end of the 3rd or the beginning of the 4th. So something to keep in mind, like you said, if you're considering Jakob. But yeah, his points, I mean, he's going to be a big part of the offense, especially should pick up more shots with Derek White not playing. So.
All right. What do you say we look on the other side of this ball here? Trae Young stands out to me. Derek White, one of his unsung strengths was being a pretty solid defender, and the Spurs have been a team that on defense as a team has suffered. So you take out arguably their best defender, at least their best backcourt defender, and this path of resistance gets even less resisty. I don't know what I just said. But Trae Young stands to reason as a super solid play here, going against DeJounte Murray on the season when it comes to fantasy points allowed. And we're looking at this backcourt for the Spurs. The Spurs have been allowing a top 10 amount, a top 5, top 6 amount of fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. So we know Trae Young liable to just get in the track meet shootout with DeJounte Murray. And we might even see similar stat lines between the two, with, of course, Murray getting more rebounds and implied slide. But when it comes to points and assists, 30 points and 10 assists is not a outlandish expectation or ballpark projection for Trae Young here. He's listed at 48 fantasy points. I've got him at 53. So not a big margin here for me to celebrate there. So maybe I'm not pushing the issue here. But Clint Capella. So here's a spot we've been on. And you know, that last game we had this hunch about Capella getting it onto his first half prop. And if you guys are new to the show, new to the channel, Clint Capella is a guy that is not closing for the Hawks. For whatever reason, I suspect that it's because they either, one, don't trust his shot selection or being able to spread that court and do anything but dunk. But perhaps more importantly, he's a horrendous free throw shooter. So one consistent or say one constant we've seen in these competitive games is Clint Capella is not playing meaningful minutes, if any, in the fourth quarter. Instead, they're leaning on Onyeka Okongwu to close a lot of these games, or just moving John Collins to the 5. So Clint Capella tends to lose minutes in the second half because he's not playing in that fourth quarter. So the last slate, I was on maybe taking some action on Clint Capella in the first half because that's where the bulk of his minutes are going to be. And if projection models are working on his full game projection, they cut it in half, and it's a little bit more lopsided in terms of his per minute production because the minutes are just not there in the second half. So I guess what I mean is we look at Clint Capella's full game fantasy scores at 27. Do we have a first half prop for the Hawks here? Let me put Capella. We have a first half of 13.5. So they are essentially taking a full game projection and dividing it by 2, and that may not be fair because the bulk of his fantasy points are coming in the first half. You look at his last couple games here, 23, 16, 17, 15. I might be on some Clint Capella first half props again tonight because I do think we're getting a discount that maybe is not appreciated by the field. Did you were part of the theory on that on the last game? What do you think about Capella first half 13.5?
No, I mean, I like it. And, the Spurs do give it up in the paint, and they do give up a lot of rebounds. So I can get behind that.
Yeah. All right. Any Hawks full game props that you might condone?
Yeah, I could get on the Trae Young 27.5 points. It could either go off or it could burn you because his 3-point shot's just not falling. So can be risky. And then the other one I like would be the DeAndre Hunter over 13.5 points. The Spurs are bottom 10 against small forwards, so he could get there.
So that would be 5 points from his PRA. Do you think there's 5 rebounds and assists for Hunter to kind of put a little safety on it? 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it looks like he's going to give us more often than not 5 or 6 PRA. So maybe it is pretty appropriate. But I like that call. All right, and then John Collins, I haven't really been getting much traction on. Is Gallinari listed as no? Gallinari's in, so I'm not running to play Collins here, but I guess we can put the rest. Any cause for concern? Any trade rumors? So maybe he's in the mix. He's got 1.5 assists. That feels low, but I guess it is appropriate. And they got him at 33 fantasy points. I've got him at 32. So everything's kind of in line there. But I guess if we're jotting down some takeaways, Clint Capella first half, I'd be a buyer in. DeJounte Murray, maybe the fantasy points I can get behind. And then Trae Young, I probably don't bet the real points here. I don't know if I want to sweat 27.5. I also hate that it's an 8-point spread, right? Leaves the door open just enough for a potential blowout. And then, Kellen Johnson threes. Let me get caught up on chat here before we move on to the next one. A lot of you guys already in here. 70. Man, that's crazy. For this little old PrizePicks show. Okay, hit that thumbs up, man. I appreciate y'all. Lorenzo, what up, Lorenzo? What up, Chris? J. Cole, Jermaine. Cole, what up, Mike? DW says Chris sent him. Let's go, Chris. Appreciate that. You guys spreading the love. and I see you get on board with those first half props. I don't run to a lot of first half props, but if I think it's a blowout, or two, the Capella situation is like the ultimate edge spot because I think the general public doesn't understand what's happening to Capella's minutes. Right? They just, he's only getting 20 minutes a game. Well, he's just not playing the fourth quarter, so he's getting normal minutes in the first half. So I think we are getting a discount that the numbers that are probably not appropriately accounting for. You know what I mean? Where do we go from here? You want to talk on some Hornets and Pistons with
Yeah.
Hornets being one of our favorite spots all year to attack. They run a super fast pace, and they give up a lot of points on defense. And I talked about it yesterday. When you think about fast pace, good offense, no defense, and you had to put those stats and that mantra into a player that plays center, Montrezl Harrell is the first name that comes to mind. So for them to go out there and get Montrezl Harrell, oh man, is he gonna fit very nicely in this team? But Gordon Hayward's still out, Martin out as well. So what we have seen is Kelly Oubre fill in the starting lineup for the Hornets here. And then what we saw last game was that when LaMelo Ball wasn't facing a death row defensive stalwart that he had prior to Chicago, Toronto, Miami, Cleveland, Boston, he's able to show up and show out and show up and show out. He did back-to-back games with 4 steals, and of course he stuffs the stat sheet. He also got you 30 plus real points. So I guess we will start this Hornets card by seeing what LaMelo is listed at. They got him at 22.5 real points, and also we'll pull up a Charlotte Hornets on-off court tool here. And I'm going to put LaMelo. I say we put LaMelo, Terry. Hey. Yo, I appreciate that follow, Garrett. Welcome to the channel. Let's put LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier on the court. Let's take off Gordon Hayward. I'm going to let Oubre float around. And I guess we'll put Bridges because Bridges is live to play 40 minutes. So these three on, Gordon Hayward off. Usage rates look like LaMelo 27% with a 30% assist rate and a 1.2 PrizePicks fantasy point per minute production on the season. So LaMelo would be my instant interest. I've got him at a 49 fantasy point projection. They've got him at 44. We're not that far today on a lot of these fantasy point projections, but they have him at 8.5 assists. And on that 30% assist rate, I feel like I can get behind that number. Do you have any early leans on LaMelo? And do you have any leans on Hornets calls in general? Rozier's listed at 4 assists and 3 3-pointers made. I think I saw some of you cats talking about Mason Plumlee being able to score, over 6.5 real points against his old team. 25 fantasy points for him. I've been leaning on Plumlee rebounds more than anything, but any Hornets love standing out, starting with LaMelo? Josh does this like twice a show, chat. He just starts.
Oh my gosh, I still didn't fix it. I could get on LaMelo's fantasy score. Yeah, the person I'm probably most interested in this game would be Miles Bridges because it's Narrative Friday, and
let me hear it.
Yeah, yeah, man, he's a Michigan boy, right? Like he was born in Flint, Michigan. He played his high school ball there, and he played his college ball at Michigan State. So he's returning. He's coming home,
coming home.
It's a good matchup. It's a great matchup for him, right? Like in the paint, like Detroit struggles against bigs and rebounding. So I can get on his fantasy score. And Rozier, they bumped up to 5.5 assists now. They finally did it.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, it is 5.5. I don't know why I thought I just saw 4. Okay.
I think you probably were looking at rebounds.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, So I don't know. I can't get on. I'm not gonna get on that because he'll tend to get 5 more often than not. And then like you said, Plumlee, if you want some revenge narrative there, I would get on his rebound props like you said, 8.5, just because Detroit is the worst rebounding team in the league.
Yeah. Let's see. Marvin Bagley, I believe we got ruled out, right? And then did we get definitive Cade Cunningham news yet? he had missed the last couple games. I think he would also be somebody that would be a catalyst in keeping this game competitive. It's gonna be uphill battle to score as many points as the Hornets are when they're firing on all cylinders. It says he's been marked questionable, so nothing is for sure. Do we have any Pistons lines up?
Yeah, we do.
Ending sentences with an upper inflection. Jeremy Grant. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. If Jeremy Grant and or Sadiq Bey. So I think we ran. I think Sadiq Bey had the highest assist rate in the split. Let me go on and get that. Let me go on and get that. Let's put Bey. Hey, Bey. Let's put Sadiq Bey on the court. Let's put Jeremy Grant. Let's take off Cade Cunningham. And I guess we should put Ham Diallo on the court. It seems like we should project him to start. They did that one game where like Roddy Magruder started, and they're like, nah, no thanks. 29% assist rate on Sadiq Bey in this split, and Jeremy Grant has a 24% usage rate. Ham Diallo at 26%, implied for 110 points are the Pistons. So very rarely are they ever implied to score that many, but if they do, I feel like 18.5 real points for Jeremy Grant, something that is probably obtainable. And then Sadiq Bey, we don't have an assist prop on him. That would have been something I'm curious with. And then we don't have any Diallo. Isaiah Stewart, we talked about him in the was it yesterday? Whenever he gets minutes, he typically gets rebounds. Yesterday was a rough start.
He up,
Yeah, 9 boards today. Memphis is a tough matchup. Steven Adams is a tough son of a gun. But prior to that, 15, 12, 17. So if you're going to give the Pacers an just impeccable increase in possessions by putting them against a team tied for the fastest pace in the league, meanwhile Detroit is a little bit more neutral to league average, more rebound opportunities for Isaiah Stewart. And remember, they traded away Trey Lyles. They don't have Marvin Bagley ready to go yet. I could get behind maybe some Stewart rebounds. If you guys were there yesterday against Memphis, maybe it's a good day to go back. Do you like any of these Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant numbers?
Yeah, I mean, I get the Isaiah Stewart. They did bump it up to 9. It was sitting at 8.5 or 8 forever. He got into foul trouble yesterday, so he didn't. So that's actually beneficial for today, right? Like he didn't play his full minutes. He's more rested than the rest of the front court. And Mason Plumlee shouldn't get him into foul trouble. He's not an offensive threat down low. So yeah, it makes sense to get it on that. The one thing is that, man, Diallo has been rebounding at just such a crazy high clip that he could always be a problem for if you're considering any of these Pistons guys for rebounds. He just flies in and steal boards. And then Sadiq Bey, yeah. So I guess we'll need to find the Cade news first, right?
Yeah, Cade was questionable.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hold off on him. Or I mean, if you wanted to get roll the dice and assume that Cade was gonna be out, you can go ahead and jump on these props early in case they get inflated.
Jeremy Grant at 30 fantasy points. Yesterday, he was extremely high owned in DFS, at least on the FanDuel side. I've got him for 35 fantasy points, so there's a little bit of margin here. If we parlay that usage rate with the matchup, I think Jeremy Grant 30 fantasy points is very, very beatable. And it's still live if Cade Cunningham is in. But prior to that, a couple tough matchups defensively. Boston, really tough spot for a guy like Jeremy Grant. Minnesota, a little bit underrated on defense. Taron Prince, Jared Vanderbilt, they got some scrappers. Dallas didn't quite get there. In Memphis, he got there, and now it's one of the more stunning turn of events and how lopsided that game was. I think 30 fantasy points is a pretty beatable number. They also have him at 1.5 threes. It's probably a number I stay away from. But yeah, that's the Detroit Pistons. Chat.
I wish they had Sadiq Bey's 3-point prop, because I would, Hornets are being one of the worst 3-point perimeter defenses. I would jump on that. So maybe they'll add it. We'll see.
Yeah. Mike says, I don't like playing the under for Plumlee with Harrell playing. Has Harrell been confirmed available today? I think some of these cats may not be. I think some obviously will be ready to go right away, but some of these cats may not. So let's see if we can narrow that down. I saw questionable for a couple of cats earlier, and I don't know that I saw Harrell, Detroit. But also, like, I don't know. The line for Plumlee was like 6.5. Oh, he's probable. Oh, Montrezl Harrell might mess around and start today. I don't know. Maybe. Unless there are draft picks. All right, so it looks like he's probable to play today. I don't know. Maybe under on his fantasy points, but I don't think I would. I don't think I would gamble on under 6.5. Right, that's a sweat. That's like four shots, a couple putbacks, a free throw here and there. He doesn't hit free throws. I think he might be the worst free throw shooter in the league, but his lines aren't high enough for me to want to sweat the under. I don't know. What do you think? No Plumlee. I just probably don't have any Plumlee action, over or under. But that's not a crazy thought.
Yeah, I was already on the fence with them to begin with, and I wasn't sure if Harrell was playing. So, yeah, I'm gonna avoid.
Yeah. Okay. Man, Plumlee's gonna be fun. Montrezl's gonna be fun to see on this team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A fast-paced team that fits his style as a big man, right?
It's such a good fit. Fit. Detroit's tanking.
It should increase LaMelo's assist rate too, right? Like, because just how like him and Lou fed off each other, I could see him and LaMelo kind of once they build that chemistry.
Yeah, if he sets up, if Montrez is inserted to the starting lineup, I don't know if they'll do it on day one or if it's something they eventually do. But yeah,
overtime.
Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell became like the best pick and roll duo in the league. Could definitely see LaMelo benefiting from that as well. Olynyk wasn't horrible last night in his limited minutes. I think Detroit went small a few times off the bench. So Keith, we did talk about Olynyk yesterday on the DFS stream, and the knee-jerk reaction was, oh man, Trey Lyles is gone. Olynyk should get all those minutes. But then we started looking into it. A lot of Olynyk's minutes, not all of them, but a lot of those minutes came alongside Trey Lyles. So it wasn't necessarily like extra minutes for Olynyk because most of his minutes were coinciding with Trey Lyles, with the exception of a couple minutes here and there. And then last night, when Isaiah Stewart got in foul trouble, Kelly Olynyk, he was in the part of the mix in the first half. So he went from about 17, 18 minutes to about 20 minutes. So maybe that's just what we should expect from Kelly Olynyk because they did not really. It's not like he was playing opposite Trey Lyles, right? It wasn't like there was a 3-man center rotation where he was in the mix. I just think maybe we overestimated the impact of Lyles' absence for the minute boost on Kelly Olynyk, right? Looking back at this T-Wolf game, almost all of his minutes were alongside Trey Lyles. Looking back at the Celtics game, Trey Lyles, Kelly Olynyk, again, playing on the court together with a couple of minutes difference. So I do think it's possible. I do think it's possible that we might have overestimated the positive impact in terms of boosting minute projection for Kelly Olynyk here. Yo, Spazzy, appreciate that sub, but just something to keep an eye on because I was on Olynyk yesterday as well. And just from a DFS standpoint, he was just way too cheap. But yeah, something to keep an eye on. What else we got here? Karis LeVert revenge game. That was quick. No Darius Garland here. Just might start as a point guard here, but we're not sure. They might keep him off the bench for a little bit. But I feel like, this is too soon. Tyrese Halliburton on the other end. This is probably something that I maybe spin the wheel on in multi-entry in DFS. I don't know if there's anything standing out here. I would say no matter what the case is, the Pacers will probably be undersized or at least outclassed talent-wise against the Cavs front court. Did you have any interest in maybe rebound props for the Cavs, or is this a stay-away game on the 7-game selection?
I didn't really consider diving into it that much, so probably gonna stay away for now.
Yeah. 11.5 rebounds for Jared Allen, by the way. 30.5 PRA with 36 fantasy points. So just a 6-point spread between his fantasy points and his PRA. And I think that's probably something where I'd almost always lead the fantasy points just because Allen is such a block-centric guy, averaging over 2 stocks per game. And the Pacers are, definitely a team that he should outsize. So maybe if I did want to attack something, I get on the Jared Allen PRA, the fantasy points over the PRA, and I got him about 4 or 5 fantasy points higher than the PrizePicks line, looking elsewhere on the slate, the Celtics are a super strong defense. I don't know that I'm running to get to some Jokic on the road in this spot. Maybe we flip it on the other side, and there's some lines here for Tatum. I think one of the Tatum things that we've been on for a couple, at least you specifically, has been his assist prop, 4.5 assists. Is this one of those spots you're willing to go back to today, or did you have any other Celtics lines?
No, I mean I could get back on it. I mean the Nuggets struggle against ball handlers and distributors, and Schroeder's gone. I mean not that he was playing that much. He was playing 16 minutes a game lately. But yeah, him not being there, just gonna solidify Jason Tatum as his point guard role, and then his points opened up at 27.5. That was just seemed way too high. They dropped it already by 1 point, so people, I guess, hit the under, or they realized that it was too inflated. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess that would be the only thing I really consider. Nothing else is standing out to me against the Nuggets interior.
So I ran the on-off court tool. I put Tatum Brown on, and I started it from January 1 because that's when the Celtics really started turning it around. Is the last month and a half. Since January 1, when Tatum and Brown are on the court together, the assist rate, Marcus Smart still leads the trio or the starters in assists, but it's still almost 20% for Tatum, 17% for Jaylen Brown, and both Tatum and Brown have a near 30% usage rate with over a 1.1 PrizePicks fantasy point per minute production. I've got Tatum for nearly 48 fantasy points right now. They have him listed at 42, so 5-6 fantasy point gap between my numbers and theirs, but just generally speaking, not like a massive difference in some of these other props. So yeah, Celtics wouldn't be like the apple of my eye, but a couple spots to be interested in. And did we get any Derek White news? Because Derek White is listed. I don't know if he's going to be ready to go right away. If Derek White can't go, we might just get a few more minutes for Smart and Brown. Maybe Peyton Pritchard gets into the mix. And looking at some Smart lines, they have him at 1.5 threes made and 5 assists. I think, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna run to any of these lines. Maybe 1.5 threes is at least intriguing, but Celtics are just blah overall. They're usually such an equally spread out team in terms of usage distribution.
Yeah.
Al Horford assists as Jermaine. We can look at that. Horford seems to do what you least expect, right? He's either hogging rebounds, and then when you finally jump on him for rebounds, he starts hogging assists. Looking at this,
we'll give us that one.
Yeah, looking at this line, a 14% usage rate, but a 20% defensive rebound rate is actually like the leading the team other than Robert Williams. So yeah, I don't know. I'm probably just staying away overall from the Celtics.
Hey, what are we gonna do with Embiid against? This is like the prime matchup, right?
Against OKC, yeah. All right,
it's inflated, like super inflated.
So let's pull up some 76ers numbers. Let's set the mood, right? James Harden's not going to play.
Right? Seth Curry's gone.
Seth Curry's gone. James Harden's not going to play today. The Thunder have been just one of the most amazing matchups you could ask for all year. If you go look at this team DVP chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, Thunder have been a top 10 matchup, top 7 matchup to opposing centers. They really haven't had more than a couple of games with the same starting front court. Lately, it's been a little bit more consistent, but heck, every time you turn around, it's either Jeremiah Robinson Earl. They started Mamadi Diakite a couple games, then they waived him. JRE's been back and forth from the G League. Pokusevski was like their only backup big the other day. Today, Muscala, JRE, Isaiah Roby, all listed as out. So we might just see more favors and more Pokusevski. And the matchup is a piece of paper for Joel Embiid here. The caveat, the question mark is, does it stay competitive? It's a 12.5 point spread on a 207 total. Maybe Joel Embiid has one of those home game opportunities to further his MVP campaign, and he'll just go out there and dominate just to do it. But you're right, they taxed us, man. 32.5 real points is his prop, 4.5 assists, 13 rebounds, 50.5 PRA with 59.5 fantasy points as their projection. I got him at 61, so I'm not getting a big margin there. To I guess for due diligence sake, we can pull on or pull up what Joel Embiid has accomplished so far this season without Seth Curry on the court. But I don't know. I guess I'm most worried about this game staying competitive. At the same time, we keep saying it. The Thunder somehow keep scrapping, right? Their defense stays around long enough, strong enough to get us some quarters here. But Joel Embiid has a 43% usage rate in this split with Curry off the court, a 37.7% assist rate, and a 185 FanDuel fantasy point per minute. Dang near 2. So FanDuel fantasy point per minute, the same as PrizePicks. Man, you put him for 32 to 35 minutes times 1.8, you're going to get a big, fat, juicy number. So I definitely wouldn't push back on any of these overs. I think I would probably try to find the lowest line. The lowest line is 4.5 assists, and we said he has a 38% assist rate. Matter of fact, this is since January 1. I guess we could elongate on that since the full season, see if that assist rate stays high. 34%. So still a 34% assist rate at a 4.5 assist line. Maybe the assist line is the way to go. I don't know. What do you think?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because what does the assist rate go up to when Seth Curry's off the court?
Well, that's the line with Curry off the court.
Oh, that's the line. Okay. And what was it with them on the court? Is it a big jump?
So we were at 34. I'm gonna put Curry on the court, and that number goes from 34 to 23. That's a 12% jump. And I guess we'll put Joel Embiid, let's go FTP by game log without Seth Curry last 10 games, and we'll just worry about the assist column, right? Assist each game here, 6, 7, 4, 6, 6, 6, 1, 4. So for 2022 alone, Houston, LA, Spurs, Pelicans, Lakers, and Washington, the only game he didn't clear today's prop was against the Pelicans, and he missed it by a hook. So maybe the assist prop is the way to go.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly the direction I was going.
Sounds good to me.
I think his first half point prop is also too high and risky. 16.5. I mean,
16.5 for Embiid.
Points.
I don't know, man.
Points.
I mean, we got him for like 32. Heck, he's cleared that in 3 straight. There's no Curry. He's got a 40% usage rate. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder. He might go Luka Doncic in the first quarter, man. I don't know.
Yeah, because Luka now holds the most points for this season in a quarter, so maybe he wants to take that back.
Yeah, you might try to make an answer. Jermaine Sharp says Matisse Thybulle assists is at 1.5. Oof, I don't know if I got it in me for that one. It's above his season average. What's his fantasy points prop? Let's see, Thybulle's at 10 fantasy points. I guess that's the first half. Yeah, Thybulle is at 20. I've got him for 21. Yeah, that's too close. Steals plus blocks, they have that. It's at they don't have it. Usually if it's not, I think I've only seen 1.5. I don't think I've ever seen a line that wasn't 1.5 for steals plus blocks for Thybulle. Right? Let's see. Blocks and steals. Yeah, it's always 1.5. And Thybulle's such a defensive juggernaut that he's almost always going to be like at 2.5 elsewhere, right? Malcolm says Jokic under 9 assists. Boston's ranked number 1 this season in opponent assists. They are also ranked number 1 in the league in the last 3 games. Yeah, Boston's a whole different level of defense right now. I don't like to doubt Jokic, but I would say that if you expected any team to limit somebody, and that team is the way the Celtics have been playing right now, I think you're very sound in your reason. So what was Jokic's assist prop at? Jokic. 9. I don't think that's crazy. So that whole Sixers game was volatile. I'll probably stay away. It is, man, but I'm saying the Thunder have been keeping games competitive, so just something to keep an eye on. And reminder, chat, today, $1 is all you need to put on a card to enter on PrizePicks. So if you're out there lurking, maybe you're waiting for that DFS show in 10 minutes, you can sign up for PrizePicks. You use code Gundacker. They will match your first deposit up to $100, and you can fire away entries tonight for as little as $1. Learn the way of the road, if you will, and just know it's not just NBA. They got something for everybody, including a ton of NFL Super Bowl props this week. Josh, I don't know if you looked at the Super Bowl props, but they have something for literally everything. I mean, completion percentage, QB rating, longest field goal, shortest field goal. It's nuts, the amount of actions you can have on one singular football game. So if you're just trying to have some fun this weekend with the boys, go check it out. And it's a good way to support the stream, support the channel. And then also if you're out there lurking, you want access to my projections, Josh's tidy and neat prop detector, and the player pool, and maybe more importantly, the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord, or the VIP Discord, where we chop shop on NBA all the time, especially before lock in the voice chat. Go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships, get yourself signed up. A lot of this will, DFS stuff on the forefront, but so much of it transitions easily into PrizePicks and everything. We already have tabs coded to help be a companion piece to your PrizePicks hunt, including PRA projections in the player props tab, and then Josh's prop detector. 9 Ether, appreciate that sub. All right, Josh, before we get out of here, we got a game with a total of 241 points. And in that game, the Chicago Bulls are favored by 3. A couple of Q tags to be mindful of. Ayo Dosunmu is one of them. He missed the last game for the Bulls. Looks like he could be ready to go today. If he's not, expect more Kobe White, Zach LaVine. Dosunmu's in concussion protocol, and then Vucevic has been listed as probable with an early Q tag. We know Zach LaVine will give you 25 points a game when he's off the chain, and we know DeRozan will give you 25, 26, 27, sometimes 30 plus. And a 241 total. What's standing out to you? I guess we'll start with the Bull side. Do we just take shots on everything?
Yeah. I mean, because, it's a dart throw, right? Because you got 3 productive usage guys, high usage guys that are going to just dominate the ball. I mean, you got LaVine revenge narrative, right? If you want to get on that.
Sure.
And they did inflate his points a little bit. He's up to 25.5. He was sitting at 24 for a while. And, I mean, just DeRozan's been on a tear, like, in the second half, right? Like, he'll start off kind of slow, but not aggressive, and then his motor just kicks in that second half, and he just goes nuclear, like, in the third and fourth quarter. So
what you're saying is first half unders, second half overs.
Yeah, right. That's a good point, actually. I feel like this heater that he's gone on, I'm pretty sure that's how it's gone. That streak is gone. He's averaging what, like, over the last 6 to 8 games, like 34 points, 32 points. It's pretty crazy. He's on a tear. So, I mean, if you want to ride that train and hope he keeps it up, I could see it. I mean, 20.5 points. I mean, I feel like majority of his stuff is going to come from shooting and scoring because he's just a shooter. So I could get on the 28.5 if he keeps his heater going. And then what do you think about Vooch in the situation against Cat? Do you like his fantasy score, his PRA at all? I mean, his assists have gone up. If Ayo sits again, I can see him racking up a lot more assists in this matchup.
Yeah, I think one of the things that go under documented, I guess is the word. Is that I don't even. If that sounds like a word. Let's run with it. In the split, when you put LaVine, Vooch, and DeRozan on the court, you take off Lonzo and Caruso. We haven't taken out Dosunmu yet. Vucevic actually leads the team in points per minute, 1.3. And every slate, I know we're keeping eyes on DeRozan and LaVine, but Vucevic just keeps grinding, chugging along with big games. 55 against Charlotte. Charlotte's a cupcake matchup. Against Phoenix, a little tougher matchup, 32 fantasy points. We've seen as much as 70, 64. Of course, those games were without Zach LaVine. But per minute, Vooch has been getting it done. And, against Minnesota, I could put some stock in Vooch to continue this 1.3 fantasy point per minute production rate. And they got him at 43 fantasy points. Early on, I got him at 49, so a little bit of a difference there. I am empathetic with the no warm and fuzzies feeling on the fact that the Bulls have 3 high usage guys that could cannibalize each other, if you will. But I certainly feel like per minute we have a decent sample size that might get us a low line on Vooch that we could attack. Just really a high usage center in a 240 total. Plenty of implied rebounds and assist to boot for a guy like him. And then in a total that high, it kind of burnt us in the last game, the Javonte Green PRA. But prior to that, this line that they have for Javonte Green has been a line that he has been able to eclipse pretty liberally. So maybe we sprinkle some of that in there. But I guess the Sumu news would be pretty pivotal. Assist rate wise, the highest assist rate with these 3 on is on DeRozan at 24%. They have DeRozan at 6.5 assists. That's a line hit. He's missed his last 2 games. If, in fact, Sumu can't go, it is concussion protocol. You really just never know how long those things last. We've seen, I think Gobert's just now coming back, or Donovan Mitchell had a long stretch out with that. If we do take off Sumu, DeRozan's still stabilized right there at 25% assist rate. So on that type of total, I can get behind that. And then to double down on the Vooch take, Vooch's point per minute goes up to 1.4. So I guess that the Sumu news is more important than maybe most will think. And then, of course, if the Sumu can't go, we're probably looking for some Kobe White point props, but more so his 3-point attempt props. And if we can get that at like 2.5, I'd be a buyer in that. So, yeah, no warmer fuzzies overall, but I might have some interest in DeRozan 6.5 assists just because of how many points are implied here. And then on the T-Wolf side, I'm already seeing some splits in the chat. My boy Lorenza said that thinks Anthony Edwards will show off in the house that Mike built. Come on, aren't we looking at the greatest Bulls team of all time right now? Come on, bro.
Hey, why is there only 2 players on cards available or props available?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's because officially we have some Q tags, like D'Angelo Russell, I believe, is questionable. Patrick Beverley is somewhat questionable. Obviously, if D-Russ is out and Beverley, more so D-Russ, it will spike others' usage, but especially a guy like Anthony Edwards. Let me get the official injury report for Minnesota. So D'Angelo Russell is questionable. Patrick Beverley questionable. Anthony Edwards is questionable.
That's because Pat Bev and D'Lo have been questionable every game for like the last, I feel like, month. But the Edwards, that's new. That's a new tag.
Says he's been playing through the sore knee for a few games. Possible to do the same Friday night. Should he miss? All right, so that's officially why we got 2 Q tags. And if one or both of those guys were to be out, Karl-Anthony Towns would look pretty good for fantasy sake, if nothing else. They didn't give us a fantasy point prop. We get 9.5 rebounds, 24.5 real points, and 39.5 PRA. So I guess it would be kind of irresponsible to start swaying people one way or the other without definitive news. But it is an 8 p.m. game. Hopefully we have that news with enough time to react. What up, Thomas? Just got here. Any locks for the day? I don't know. I guess it is that time for us to give away like 1 or 2 favorite picks. Oh my God, it's 1:57. We gotta get out of here. What's your favorite pick of the day, Josh?
I really consider it because I'm still waiting on a lot of props to come out. They're withholding a lot of them because of news. So I don't want to mislead someone yet. I need to think that through. I'd say Miles Bridges maybe for me.
Miles Bridges. I'm kind of liking the Capella first half and the Joel Embiid assist.
Yeah.
So Capella
I
first
like
half
that.
fantasy points, Joel Embiid assists. We'll roll with that. Chat, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Just a couple of minutes. I'm going to talk about every game with some DraftKings and FanDuel perspective sprinkled in there. If you want to join me, stick around. Matter of fact, it'll send you right through it, man. Josh, I guess Monday? I don't know. Yeah, Monday?
Yeah.
Monday?
Yeah, I'm
All right.
here, man.
3 live
Right.
crew on Monday. I might do some content tomorrow, but don't hold me to it. But Monday. But yeah, we're gonna keep the grind going. If you guys want to get into Josh's brain, get in that Discord, and we will go from there. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in a minute for the DFS show. If you're out of here, hit that thumbs up. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.